So, this starts my study of this, my study of teams, my study of what it takes to build a team of ideal team players started when I started my first practice, and I was just terrible at hiring. It was hilarious. When I opened my first practice after doing an associate position, I thought I knew what the heck I was doing, but it was clear that I didn't, because within my first 6 months in practice, I went through 6 CAs, right? And that was a great lesson to me of, man, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I had to learn so much during that first 6 months about some of the things that I didn't realize that I needed to know as a business owner. And I'll tell you, it could have been frustrating. I could have just given up and said, you know what? I'm just going to do this myself. Forget it. I'm not going to keep hiring CAs and have them leave. I'm going to, or have them, and have me have to fire them or whatever. I'm going to just do it all myself. But I realized that wasn't the way to help as many people in my community as I could possibly help. And so I continue to learn and apply. And the 6th one I hired was fantastic. And I learned why that was. And it's related to the ideal team player characteristics that I'm going to talk about in a minute, and also personalities. Personality types and profiles was very, very important to me back then. It still is now. Understanding my personality and understanding the people that I hired to work with me's personalities and how those either work together or don't work together. And so there's a lot of different personality profiles out there, and that you can use, whether it's the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs or different things. There's a lot of different ones out there, but the one that I've used and I've found the most use out of, and it's just simple and straightforward, is the DISC assessment, or the DISC profile. And so that's the one I like to use. It's one that I've found the most value from. And the DISC is the 4 personality types that it breaks down is the D, I, S, and C. Me personally, I am a high D with a secondary of a C. So I'm a DC, right? And what I was doing when I hired those first 5 people is I was hiring people who were either high I's with like a secondary S, or a high S with a secondary I. Like 5 in a row, I had hired that type of a personality type, and it wasn't working because I need somebody who is going to get the details right. They need to be detail oriented. And if someone's not detail oriented, I couldn't work with them effectively. They would drive me crazy. And so that's what I finally realized, is I had to get somebody that had that detail orientedness about them, but also have that people person warmth to them as well. And what I finally got in my 6th hire was a high S with a secondary C. And that was the perfect combination. She ended up thriving my practice, eventually became my office manager, and was fantastic. But you have to know this about yourself. You have to know what's your personality type, and then what is going to work best with you. Later on, as the practice continued to grow, and with me and the 1 CA, and we hired a 2nd CA, what we brought in at that time was a high I. She was a high I with a secondary S, and she was fantastic, right? And once we had that person that was handling all the details, and me as the driver of the practice, and then we had this just great people person, bubbly personality, the combination of 3 of us helped that practice grow even more. And so understanding personalities, understanding that there are different types of personalities that work better together than others, and so understanding who you are as a doctor, and then understanding the people that you're hiring and how they work together. And so just a brief breakdown on this. You can get more detailed on this, do your own research into the personality types. And they're not, this isn't the definitive. It doesn't say that, this is exactly who you are. It's just a place to start. It's a place to understand yourself and understand others. You can use a DISC assessment as part of your hiring process. We highly recommend you do. We do that with all of our team members. and it will help you identify who they are as people. So a high D is decisive, they're direct, they're determined, they're a driver, right? This is someone that tends to be more task oriented, very focused in that way. And this is someone who, there's a lot of doctors who are high Ds, but there's a lot of doctors who are all four of the personality types. And so you can thrive as a doctor with any personality type. We've seen great practices with all four personality types. It just depends on who you put around you to work together. The high I is the interactive, influential, impulsive, inspiring. This is, again, someone who's very much a people person, life of the party, that type of personality. The S is the stabilizing, steady, supportive, stable. This is a very reliable, loyal person who is a great stabilizer for the practice, very people friendly, very people connected type person, good listener, so forth. The C is cautious, conscientious, careful, critical. This is your analytical personality type, detail oriented, and is, again, very, very important, especially if details matter to you, which they frequently do when you're an upper cervical specialist. You love the details like I do. And so understanding these four personality types, how they work together, what you are personally, and then what your team is, makes a big difference on how you're going to work well or not work well together. And so, as I said too, as you get more team members, when you go from yourself and one CA to another CA, or adding an associate, or all these types of different transitions as you go through the practice growth stages, it's crucial that you have an understanding of these personality types and what you're looking for next.